Tanks in solo queue has been a hot debate amongst PvPers. A recent blue post has singled out prot paladins and significantly changed how solo shuffle works for them. And it hasn't been so much of a debate as it's been a one-sided hate towards tanks and PvP. I get it, tanks have endless defensives and can pump tons of damage. Let's talk about why tanks in PvP are great and why you should leave them alone.
Leave Billy alone!
Tanks in rated PvP has really never been a thing, except for a little bit of time in Season 1 of Shadowlands when prot paladins briefly were in the AWC. In pre-patch, tanks took the spot of healers and created a lot of confusion and honestly annoyance in the PvP community. With rated solo shuffle coming to the game, the PvP community has gotten, and I believe it will continue to get, much larger in Dragonflight. Tanks are an important part of the game, and they always have been and always will be. Tank players provide variety in PvP, which is the entire purpose of solo queue. Every spec should be able to participate in the highest end content, and tanks are no exception. Because tanks have been excluded from PvP for so long, it's not surprising that Blizzard has stumbled with them in solo PvP. But don't worry, Blizzard has a solution to the tank hate in PvP. They're going to allow tanks to take up a DPS slot instead of a heal slot, with the exception of prot paladins. Because prot paladin has so much healing, they are classified as a healer instead and will only get paired up against other prot paladins. I don't know about you guys, but I get why Blizzard is doing this, but for me, as someone who's interested in playing prot as an off-spec, this absolutely kills my interest in solo shuffle. I don't want to only ever get matched up against prot paladins. The whole idea of solo shuffle is to fight against weird comps, and if I'm the only ever against prot paladins, I'm never going to want to play solo shuffle as a prot paladin, and maybe that's honestly their plan. But it sucks, and I hate it. Their solution of making up spot for tanks is also bad for DPS players, who now get longer queue times than when tanks replace the role of healers. So DPS really shouldn't be happy about this change either, and the main benefit to a tank for doing the solo queue in the first place is that they get the faster queue times, and the matches themselves are actually probably a little bit faster because of the lack of healing. So the matches just go faster and they end faster, right? Okay, so what should Blizzard do instead? One thing they could do is to identify the abilities that tanks have that are overpowered in PvP and just tone them down. Make a modifier where tanks take 20% more damage, for example. Rework tank talents to increase their damage done so that they feel more like a DPS. If they're taking up a DPS spot anyway, just let them be a DPS. There are tons of ways that Blizzard could handle this, and because it's so late into the cycle, I think they're just trying whatever that they can do that's just the easiest and hope that that works. I would rather they just take tanks out of solo queue altogether than to have some weird hybrid situation where prot paladins take up a heal slot. If I wanted to heal, I would play Holy Paladin, and it feels like Blizzard would rather soft force tanks out of solo queue because that's effectively what their change is doing. If they really wanted tanks to be able to PvP, they need to figure this out before they alienate tank players too much. Solo queue is going to be an important game mode in Dragonflight, and they need to get this right. Figure it out, Blizzard. I'll be working on my Holy Paladin in the meantime, because forcing prot paladins to only play against prot paladins is not the right way.